Boys and girls. So the one on Grassman Chronicles is running, or no, the one on Captive Desk is running, but not the one on Grassman. And there's two more on Captive Desk, so I don't know what's happening. So anyway, Dave is probably going to join us. Dave is probably going to join us to let everybody know he's still alive. And
everybody, have a slice of toast and think about Dave, because Dave has been hospitalized due to a medical issue that needed to be taken care of quickly. And so that's why we're doing SNATA again.
Yep.
This week.
He posted about it on Grassman Chronicle, or on his on one of his channels. He posted about what's going on with him. So anyway, it's kind of complicated what's going on with him, and it was a tumor in his cerebellum that I don't know if do you all know what a cerebellum does?
It's cerebrates.
No, it's cerebellate. It's often confused with the cerebrum, which is I don't know, a bad term. Anyway, cerebellum is at the back of your brainstem, and it's a little cluster of matrix cells that works by linear algebra to do really complicated calculus. Is what it does, which is interesting. So if you're standing up, it tells you which muscles to tense up, which to relax. And like when you catch a basketball, it helps you calculate where the basketball is. And it's got a whole lot of other functions. And it's a pretty serious little organ.
And if that's if that's true about the basketball and the cerebellum, apparently my cerebellum sucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you don't train it right, it does suck anyway. Siri, is that the three-headed dog? No. Cerberus. Maybe it's a Cerberus. Anyway, so we were going to go over. I'm not sure when Dave's going to stop in. He seemed confused about. I think Dave's a little high right now. He just had surgery. Yesterday, or the night before? The night before, I think, wasn't it? I can't remember. Anyway,
wasn't it last night?
Oh yeah, okay.
30 p.m. his time.
Yeah, time is going really slow for me again, so I have no idea what's going on. Anyway. Oh, yeah, I want to say that 57 years ago, tonight, I was in South Dakota getting married to my first wife when I was 17 years old. And we had to go to South Dakota because Minnesota wouldn't allow minors to get married. And she was 18 and I was 17. So anyway. It was a pretty big night for me, and I was in bandages because the day before, or I think the day before, I lit myself on fire with gasoline and tried to kill myself with working on a car, on a 62 Chevy Impala Super Sport. Anyway.
Now that is a way to celebrate.
That's a way to celebrate.
So better than one of those fireworks displays.
Right. I was ripped on morphine when I got married, and I always threatened her with an annulment because she got me stoned, and it was her fault because she was in the car at the ignition, and I was outside with a 2-quart can of gas, pouring gas into the carburetor, and I said, "Okay, honey, hit the switch," and it backfired, and I pulled the gas on my shirt. So I was soaked in gas, and I was a human torch running around I burnt the nipple off, but I got into cold water right away, so I didn't. The only thing I lost is a nipple. Anyway, don't do that, kids.
Hey, this is
home.
a family show. None of that nipple talk.
Yeah, right. No nipple talk. Men don't have nipples. Anyway, yeah, don't do that. Don't pour gas into a carburetor. Oh, wait, we don't have carburetors anymore. Shows you how old I am. Do you know what a carburetor is, Andrew?
No, not really.
Well, you know,
No shit.
a few years ago, I talked about a carburetor, and the people I was having dinner with just made fun of me, just roasted me like hell because nobody has a carburetor anymore. But I remember working on those carburetors when I was a young man because sometimes, you know, you would get your engine would get flooded, and you had to let the carburetor dry out, or sometimes people would pour like lighting fluid or something like that into the carburetor.
Ether.
To get it to get the car to get running again.
Yeah. Yep, you sprayed ether in it, and it was anyway, mixed gas and white. They're beautiful. Carburetors are beautiful, especially the big 4 barrels. And anyway, okay. So what are we gonna do, boys and girls? I wanted to start with something here with Sal Cordova and Rebecca have been irritating all of us lately. So
they've returned. The duo has returned.
Yep. Let's see here. Full screen layout. Okay, so if I go there, I do that, and that's not what I want. And God, they just don't have the right tools here at all. Now, if I hit remove, yeah, it goes. Oh my God. Okay, we're there. Stop complaining, Mike. It's just programs. Okay. But I got a few clips from Cell, and these are in vastly different, or they're within about 5 or 10 minutes of each other.
Possible. I mean, a creator can do anything. So, sorry.
But, okay, Dan.
A creator can do anything.
Okay,
you agree, though, that
fundamentally, a creator can do anything. He can accelerate. A creator can do anything. He can accelerate. So I'm sorry.
No matter what limitation.
Can you mute your?
I have a creator can do anything. I don't know how. I don't know how else to repeat it. I will point out. I myself have seen in the Lambda interview.
So what is that? 5 times a creator can do anything. So.
Yeah, and so that's 5 times that Sal has let us know that he is not about science. He is about propaganda. He's about science speak more than he is about science. Because when you're saying, you know, Dr. Dan did a video basically saying that Sal Cordova believes in last Thursdayism, because that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, fundamentally.
Hey, Dave, you're home.
Yeah, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Are you home?
I'm still at the hospital.
Oh, you are? Okay. So
I'm at the hospital.
How is it?
I'm out of surgery. I had surgery last night.
Yeah.
So do you have a headache right now?
I got a replay. No.
You got what?
It's playing replay. I'm on somebody else's replay.
Oh, okay. Are you a little bit high? Anyway,
I'm on a bunch of drugs. They're supposed to be getting me some more drugs in a while, but they said if I didn't get this done, I would be dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
How big was it, the tumor?
Three, I think 3 centimeters.
3 size. Yeah, that's a good size. Yeah.
That's not nothing.
Yep, that ain't nothing. Yeah. Anyway.
Good you caught it.
Well, Dave, are you able to walk around and stuff? What are they letting you do?
They won't let me walk around by myself, but I can.
Okay. Anyway, anything else you want to tell us about what's going on, or say to the?
I just want to tell everybody I was alive. Yeah, I'm alive, and thanks for all the well wishes
And the prayers.
and the prayers.
Yep.
I hope you do
Anyway.
better soon.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody. I appreciate all the love.
Yep.
Well, Dave, we're going to each have a slice of toast in your honor tonight.
All right. And
You what?
okay.
Okay.
And I'll be listening, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay.
All right.
Take care. Yep,
Yeah, get
some
better,
rest.
get plenty of rest.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. I love you guys.
Yeah, love you too. Okay.
I think
So
you
we're
might
gonna
have
listen
had
to a little
bit of
personal.
delay there.
What's that?
So I think you might
Yeah,
have had
there
a
was-
little delay there.
Yeah, he had a delay. Yeah, he's on his phone, and in a hospital somewhere in Toledo, I think.
Darn,
So,
darn
anyway.
hospital Wi-Fi.
See,
Yeah.
that's the
But
bad
that
thing.
was-
He's in Toledo. That's the worst part of this whole thing.
That is the worst part. But it's weird. I went through that a couple of years ago with kidney cancer, and one day you're fine, and then the phone rings or something happens, and then all of a sudden your life kind of takes a turn, and it's tense. But it sounds like this one is manageable. So there's
Hopefully.
there's some good news for it. So anyway.
Yeah, for people who have insurance, use all of that deductible that you can. Getting tests. Find a doctor who will do a test, even if you might not quite need it, because that's where things are discovered, that cause people to pass away suddenly. I had an episode back in 2012, maybe, where I had been walking and running, training for like 10Ks and half marathons and stuff. And I just kept feeling a little bit of tightness in my chest, and I couldn't tell if it was a pectoral muscle or if it was pleurisy, or it was just kind of a vague thing. And I was at a regular blood pressure checkup with my doctor, and I just kind of, as a last minute thing, just from the, it just came into my head to mention it to him. And he didn't seem worried, but he said, let's go have you go and see a cardiologist. And then for one reason or another, they decided to do some imaging. And it turns out that one of my veins in my heart was like 98% clogged up. And I was, just an inch away from a heart attack.
Dying. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And we don't know, because the weird thing is a couple of years later, after I got a stent put in, for that particular artery, I had the same exact sensation in my chest, identical, and they didn't find anything unusual. And so what it was, who knows what caused that symptom, but testing, just, doing a test just in case, caught something else. So I just so happened to have a feeling, and they just happened to catch something that might have been unrelated to that feeling. And so that's why you need to use up all the tests you can. Stretch the boundaries of ethics with your doctor to get tests ordered for you.
lie to them. Tell them that you
Yeah.
have symptoms, even if you don't, because that's
Yeah,
how I
go
found
to-
my kidney
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah, and of course, age, age range and statistical probability comes into that. Just look at all the actuarial tables. Get tested for the things that people die of all the time.
Yeah.
And come up with an excuse, because the insurance companies, some have a good philosophy, especially if you're paying their premiums, which are just huge. That get all the free testing done that you can, get all the testing done that you can to prevent. But other insurance companies are scrutinizing everything and being more restrictive about what you can get done. And so you not only have to fight the doctors, which I don't really think they fight back that hard. They don't really care. They'll test you because if somebody's going to pay for that work, and so they don't care. But
Yeah, my doctor gets kind of excited when I make up or have a symptom because, oh boy, something interesting. So he orders it.
I like to think they have a better work and medical ethic than health insurance companies.
Yeah.
And let's just get back to this notation by a left-handed Jedi. When I had my heart attack, it lasted over 24 hours before I went to urgent care and then rushed to surgery to install hands. Let's all, as a community, come up with an arbitrary number where you will allow pain in your body to last. Because to me, 24 hours is way too long. And so let's say if you got a pain over an hour and a half, go to urgent care. Go to the ER, and if you have to, you can move to another state to avoid paying the ER bill. But go to the ER and tell them you're having chest pains or something. You know?
Because 25% of people die right there at home when they have a heart attack. Still,
this economy, this political situation. There are a lot of billionaires out there who don't care if you live or not.
Yeah.
There's kind of a war against the middle and, of course, the lower class, the lower economic classes. And so you have to care if you live or die. And you have to take direct action on your behalf in order to avoid dying or being debilitated for the rest of your life. So just push, make them look at you and then worry about the costs later, because we should all live long and prosper, not just a minuscule 1% of the population.
Yep.
Yet another reason why we should continue to fund medical research and care.
Oh no, we're not going to do that no more.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we're just gonna eat roadkill and chug Dr. Oz vitamins or something. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what the fuck.
Take liver cod oil or something.
Yeah, so much damage is being done right now to everything, and I just don't understand what the hell they think they're doing. Now they're trying to start a war with Venezuela, and it's like, Jesus Christ. The 4 days that he went to the golf course, people should have just left him alone, let him stay there. It's like, God damn. Stay at the golf course. A good president does very little. That's what
Really?
Oh, yeah. A good president doesn't get much done, okay? Because that's the way the system is designed, so that, there isn't a whole...
Okay.
So we aren't rocking back and forth from Democrat to Republican. A good president gets very little done. He just keeps us safe, and he runs through a few programs like healthcare or whatever, but they don't do a lot of harm. And that's really what we need. We don't need this crazy ass revolutionary turn everything on its fucking head.
I guess you mean the basic requirement: don't make things worse than they already were.
Right. Yeah. Just manage the country and let the Senate do what the Senate is supposed to do. They're the ones that are supposed to slowly move the laws, and they have a really good balance, and they do it, rather conservatively when you think about it. And it's like everybody like, oh, they want their president to do all this shit. Well, no, that's called a fucking dictator. Okay, get used to a democracy where the president just kind of manages shit and signs the bills. He has that override, and that's about it.
Well, that's why you don't just elect the president; you elect the Congress people. So.
Right. Yeah, and that's how you get things. And it's
Oh,
like.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have another waiting too long story as well. And this happened more recently. It started out, I would stand up from sitting, for a long time, and my legs would just be kind of wobbly. And I thought, oh man, I'm getting old. My circulation's going, and my legs went to sleep or started to go to sleep. But it would get worse and worse, and it got to where over several weeks, maybe months even, just getting out of my car after driving, I would have to stand there for about 5 or 10 minutes before I could walk from my car to to the steps up to my porch, until one day it got so bad that my legs were too weak to climb up the steps. And we're just talking about 3 or 4 steps up to my porch. And I fell back and landed. And I thought, it might be time to go see a doctor. So I went to go see a doctor, and I arrived at the doctor's appointment, and I had to stand by my car for 10 minutes before I could actually walk to the platform to walk up to the doctor's office. Then they took some blood, and luckily I got the LabCorp report before the doctor's office called me, but it showed that my potassium level, just one reading off of my and once again, this was standard blood pressure and heart disease follow up. It's just one of those things that you don't think about. I got to go see the doctor for a checkup. Well, I was at a lethal, I think the normal level, the normal high, if you're still in the normal range for potassium, if you're like a 5.5, and I was a 7.7. And basically my body was shutting down from the extremities inward. And by the time I got to the ER, I could not even, climb up onto the gurney in order to have them roll me into an exam room. I was like a fucking paralyzed walrus. It was embarrassing, and it was humiliating. And I came that close to dying just because of one chemical. And we figured out what was doing it. It was some of the medicine I was on. So don't let things go. If you're weak, and if you're weaker and tireder than normal, and maybe 2 days in a row of 8 hours of sleep or whatever, or the best sleep that you normally get doesn't cure it, go to the doctor. Don't remain weak. Don't remain tired. Go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor. It's crazy that potassium, of all things, could literally poison you. Well, it's kind of the big point. There are
several ways that potassium can go bad for you. Several things that cause it. But just one little reading can be off kilter, and it could almost kill you, or it could kill you.
I mean, that's why they say it's the dose that makes the poison, right? It's not just the chemical itself that, because you could have been in normal levels of potassium there, and it wouldn't have been toxic. So, too much, too little.
Chris Moore from Canada.
Also, and if you're over 60, sepsis starts to become a real thing. So right now, no, don't even wait till after SNATA. Right now, do a little Google search of sepsis and what it is and what the symptoms are, because that's another thing that will make you weak and tired. But if you don't take care of it, it will kill you.
Can kill you.
Sepsis,
and if any SEPSIS, sepsis, look it up. And if you're over 70, get everybody to subscribe to your channel, because you're going to be dead soon.
Yeah. Also subscribe to Answers in Atheism.
Answers in Atheism.
And Captive
Death.
Death.
Yeah, any minute now. Yep.
It's actually one of the things about aging that actually kind of I maybe it crossed my mind, but hadn't really struck me in the way it did until I think I ever read something or watched a video or something that explained it pretty well. But like, I mean, obviously age is a big health factor, but it's not aging itself that causes, or senescence that causes you to die eventually. Rather, it's more like your risk of dying or your organs failing that increases
Yeah.
as you age. So kind of the
Yeah.
backwards there.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with shutting down, with basically not pushing yourself, because you'll start to hurt a little bit. You'll get like a little arthritis in one of your joints because those things, eventually wear out. And then you quit exercising, and then you slow down, and you get slower and slower. And same thing with your brain. If you don't use the goddamn thing, it pretty much goes away real fast. But anyway, so what the hell? Oh, so okay, Rebecca and what's his name, Cornelius Hunter. Cornelius Hunter wrote this paper, 25 things that absolutely destroy evolution, or something like that.
Yeah,
And two of them. One of them was orphan genes, and the other was de novo genes, I think, or basically genes being created. That's basically the same subject. So I got off on this orphan gene tangent, hence the thumbnail. If anybody hasn't looked at my thumbnail, please go look at it. It's wonderful. It's got this beautiful little orphan gene, and it's homeless, and it has no homology. So the creationist claim, and it's amazing. Paul, what is his name? Paul Nelson, I think it is. He's a real brilliant guy, and he does a lot of philosophy of science, but he's a creationist, right? And he talks about orphan genes, and he basically, it's really surprising that he hasn't looked into them. He's looking into them in a weird way, but anyway. So the claim is that humans have unique genes.
Isn't that always how they look into them?
Yeah, it's really weird, but a lot of researchers are looking at it statistically. They're doing these statistical analyses. Is that a word? Statistical analysis to find out how many genes don't have homology, and they do it with proteins. And they use blasts, and they use various settings for blast, and they're finding like all of these genes that don't cross over from one species to another. And anyway, so they've got they found like a handful of them basically at first, and then they did these statistical analysis, and they found thousands of them that are putative orphan genes. And the creationist claim is that unique genes that appear out of nowhere with no similarity to other species that can't be explained by evolution. And that's a complete misunderstanding of what these genes are. And I looked into the three, basically, let me see if I can I remove this for a minute?
Especially since they're usually as they would say, taxonomically restricted to the species level. So that doesn't really help the creationist concept of kinds anyway, as I think Dr. Dan pointed out in one of his videos.
So basically, if you ask for the canonical, the hero orphan genes, right, they'll frequently give you these three at the top here, which I don't know if you can see that very well. CLLU1, C2, C22, or 45 DNA, H1 or H10 OS. And those, yeah, it is. Oh, I can make it bigger. That's right. That's all I got to do. There you go.
There we go.
Okay. So I made it bigger. Anyway, so I started looking into them one at a time, and I looked at CLLU1 on chromosome 12. And I thought, okay, so this is supposed to be a unique nucleotide sequence that I don't find anywhere else, right? And but oops, I found it in all primates, basically. I didn't check them all, but you know, every primate I looked at, I found them. And then I found it in over here. I found it in the chimpanzee as an annotated gene. So if it's an orphan gene, why is it annotated in the chimpanzee and the human, right? But I think what they were saying is that it's like an orphan in that only primates have it. But if that's the case, well, then the creationists have a bit of a problem because they think humans are separate from all the other primates, right? So like you find these orphan genes in all primates and humans. Why is that? God. You see what I mean, Andrew?
Got common design.
Right. They just, yeah, but why? Anyway, well, God can do anything, right? God can do anything.
Well,
But,
maybe they annotate it. Well, like you said, because some of them are code for proteins, but others, and I think this was pointed out elsewhere, they're just transcribed into long non-coding RNAs. So they still have some homology in that sense, but they're not
yeah.
protein coding yet.
Yeah, there's some of them that are basically long non-coding RNAs, and those get transcribed, and they stay in the nucleus, and they end up having function or not in the nucleus, and then they just don't get broke down the same as to be a long non-coding RNA. You have to, I believe, stay in the nucleus, and there's some odd things about the intron. Let's see, the introns get spliced. Yeah, stay in the nucleus and have some function, basically. But then one or two mutations, and I'll show you that. I've got that on another screen somewhere. One or two mutations can turn that into a transcribed translated gene. It gets exported from the nucleus, basically. Anyway, so I went and checked this CLL out a little further. Up here we have the macaque, gorilla, Homo sapiens. They line up perfectly. All the exons and introns line up. And then I went down here and I found them in the mouse with some basically these sections are almost identical, or they have one or two mutations. Found them in the Hawaiian monk seal. And it's like, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, I'm really confused about orphan genes. If their hero, their star, basically, you find it in the monk seal and the mouse. For God's sake, it doesn't seem much like an orphan gene to me.
Now, is this
even though
that creationists typically mention, or that actual scientists?
No, it's like if you start looking at the literature, there was Knowles in Knowles was the one that I think first discovered these things. Let me see, where's Knowles here? Do I have him? Do I have Knowles? Let's see. Thought I had him here somewhere. Anyway, Knowles is the one that came up with those three, and those were like the first ones that they figured out, or something like that.
Maybe they've updated it since then.
Yeah. Yep. And then let's see. I looked for another one that basically it's active in the brain, and if you knock it out in the mouse, or if you turn it on in the mouse will end up with a huge brain, like swollen brain. And so they looked at it as a possible gene that in humans would basically create a bigger cortex, right? And it may have some effect there because of regulation. But oops, I found it in the fucking mouse. I found it in the mouse. It's supposed to be an orphan gene. It's another one of their favorites, SMIM45. And I don't quite know what the hell is going on there either, right? And so then I looked at, I think I looked at another one. Did I look at another one? Oh, yeah, I looked at DNA H10OS. And oops, it's got homology all over the goddamn place. Let me see if I can blow that up. Let's see here. Some chimpanzee. Huh?
Are we sure that has to be species lineage specific in order for it to be an orphan gene, or can it?
Well, they'll call it, yeah, they can classify it as an orphan gene if it's just in primates and it's not in the mouse. But To be the kind of orphan gene that makes a creationist happy, it has to be a completely new nucleotide sequence that pops up in humans and nowhere else, right? That's the only way it's going to. The only way it's going to. What is this? Okay, answers in atheism.
Yeah, I'm using your name in vain. And
Oh, okay,
orphan
gene.
co-pilot results.
No shit.
That. Yeah,
wow.
I was like, how are you talking and writing at the same time?
I know. Yeah, I can't do both. Everybody knows that. Anyway, so I found it I found strong homology here, and then I went out and looked at the let's see, the nucleotide sequences. Let me see here. I got to make it smaller again. Well, let's see. I can go back to my zip back over there, and this is going to be a little hard to see, but basically these are the nucleotides. Okay, this is like the actual nucleotides in the chimp and the human. Okay, and this is, you can see that the adenine, the thymine, they're identical, almost identical in human and the rest of the primates. And I'm pretty sure if I searched in the mouse that here, let's see, do we have a difference? Okay, here we have a difference. This was a thymine, that's an adenine. So here, cytosine, guanine. So we have a few differences, right? But for the most part, there's homology. So this bullshit that it's some sort of thing that just popped up is just bullshit. So anyway, and
I'm sure well, in terms of like de novo gene or origin, I think that's probably true for some of them at least, but yeah, for some of them probably a deeper history.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, I was sitting in the audience listening, and I realized that what Mike says is the kind of orphan gene they're looking for is also something they say is necessary to prove evolution. They say you need new genetic material.
Right.
New information. And it's like, okay.
It's kettle logic. You guys know what kettle logic is, right?
No, I don't. What is that?
Oh man, it's hard to explain, but creationists do it a lot. Here, let me look up an official definition for you so I can define it well. But you guys just keep talking for a second.
Okay, so gene expression, like a lot of these orphan genes that they found, Erica came up and said that they're most highly expressed in the testes, right? And the thing about the testes is that when they test them, they use 5 different tissue types that are all glommed together. And so if you find high expression of some gene in the testes, it's because across 5 cells, you're probably going to end up with expression in one or the other. But the other thing about the testes is that they unwrap the heterochromatin. It unwrap it more in the testes because it has to be, basically it has to create sperm cells. You know, they have to multiply. So you're going to find high expression of every single gene in the testes, and high expression in the testes and kind of mediocre expression everywhere else indicates that the gene may not be functional. It's a pretty good indicator that it doesn't really do anything that we know of. So anyway.
Oh,
did you find it?
Just junk DNA of the gaps, you know?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, okay, this is junk drawer DNA. There's long non-coding sequences, and there are sequences that don't do anything, and there are duplicate genes, there are all kinds of things, and all they need is 1 or 2 mutations. And the thing is, okay, they're in the human, but they're not in the chimp. We're not chimps. We're humans, okay? We differ from them in our phenotype. So of course there's going to be genes that we express that they don't express.
Right. I think Erica kind of put the challenge pretty well in that a better refutation of humans and common descent would be find a gene or a protein or something like that that's commonly found in apes that defines the clade apes and isn't found in humans or has no pre-existing precursor in humans. Like that would
Yeah.
be more convincing.
Yeah, no homology at all. That sort of
Right.
Anyway, were you ready, Austin?
Yes, yeah. Not catalogic, Scott. Kettle logic, like a kettle you make tea with. But that's a cool
Damn.
word. I didn't know that word.
Damn, I
Hot
wish I
dog
was
on a
sorry,
kettle.
man. I
No,
thought
I was
I was
talking
helping
about
out.
about kettle logic, and the term kettle logic comes
Hot
from a
calling a kettle
story
black.
where a man returns a damaged kettle to his neighbor, and he makes multiple contradictory arguments to defend himself because the kettle is damaged. He says, first, I never borrowed the kettle from you. And then once he's forced to admit that he did borrow the kettle, he argues then the kettle was already broken when I borrowed it. And then, of course, once he's forced to accept that it wasn't broken, he makes the final argument, the kettle was in perfect condition when I returned it. All three of these arguments contradict each other. The three
Right.
statements cannot all be true at the same time. They're mutually exclusive.
Yep.
When creationists take the claims that we're talking about with orphan genes and new information, it's the exact same thing. Orphan gene is a functional gene found in the genome of a particular species that has no detectable related gene homologue in another species. They're claiming that if evolution were true, every gene should have a clear ancestral gene in a related species, and they point to orphan genes as evidence of genetic discontinuity, suggesting these unique genes were specially created for that organism, with the implicit premise being that, you know, the idea is that the orphan genes represent real, novel genetic information that appeared suddenly in a lineage. But then they also turn around and say evolution is false because it can't produce new information. Yeah, they assert that natural processes like mutation and natural selection can only modify or degrade existing genetic information. They claim it's impossible for these processes to generate genuinely new functional information like a new gene, which this argument relies on the idea that novel genetic information cannot arise.
Right.
So the logic laid bare is argument one, here's an example of brand new genetic information, an orphan gene, and because we can't find its evolutionary ancestor, it must have been supernaturally created. This disproves evolution. And argument two says it is impossible for new genetic information to arise through natural processes. This disproves evolution. You can't simultaneously argue that orphan genes are examples of new information that prove creation, argument one, while also arguing that new information is impossible to generate, argument two. They're using the existence of new information and the impossibility of new information as two separate proofs against evolution simultaneously. It's
against
a
they contradict
of employing mutually exclusive arguments to support a single conclusion. Oh man.
You know, when you were reading off that
and then
example,
of course, for the record, the whole premise of this video is that orphan genes actually arise primarily through de novo gene formation, and it's not a problem for evolution at all. But wow, I mean, even if I were to assume their worldview, yeah, whew, that's a tough one for me to wrap my brain around. The cognitive dissonance in that is a little wild. But no, I wanted to see if what I was thinking made sense there, and it looks to me like it does.
You know, when you were reading off that definition, or, you know, that example of the kettle, I pictured Donald Trump at the customer service desk at Target trying to return a kettle. It's just like, I'm going to lie till
well, it's exactly the example that Icarus just gave with climate change, and when the arguments repeatedly change to maintain the basic underlying position that they held to begin with.
So anyway, these things are pretty rare. So like out of 20,000 protein coding genes, they know of about 18 to 30 of them. And of course, these statistical tests are coming up with big numbers, but that's for reasons of methodology. And I don't even want to deal with that. I want to see the actual goddamn sequence. If they can't show me a sequence that has no homology to anything else, then I don't want to listen to you about your orphan genes. And these aren't sequences that just popped up out of nowhere. The DNA regions they come from are usually shared with other primates and even with mice. And you can line them up in blasts and you can see a strong similarity, basically. And if for some reason a long non-coding RNA turns into a translatable protein and does something, there you go, creationists. There's our de novo creation of new information, which they insist is impossible.
Well, it's actually funny. I brought up the example of this to one creationist in the side chat. Said, "Well, where's new information?" Or I think it was, "New information can't come from random sources or processes." And I was like, "Okay, here's an example of previously non-coding DNA, non-functional DNA." Mutating and developing this de novo gene that has a functional protein, and they were like, "Well, it's impossible for new information to evolve." And I was like, "Okay, you're just following the script at that."
Yeah,
point.
you're just asserting that, like, it's become one of their biblical passages. It's almost like Romans 1, you know. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Claim A. You know, here's a counterexample to claim A. No, you see, claim A.
Yeah. And then they claim, okay, the other thing they claim, now this is interesting. So they're saying that, no, this can't happen, that a gene cannot be suddenly turned on and become functional. Well, they believe in created heterozygosity, which is exactly that God hid all these sequences, and then God turns them on, and he creates a fox, and he creates a dog, and he creates a wolf. You know what I mean? So they're claiming that God set this up.
This is random evolution. That's God.
Yeah. But I mean, they're contradicting themselves again. So that's more kettle logic, basically. They're saying that God put all these long non-coding things, and all you have to do is a couple of mutations, and they turn on, and they become functional proteins, and the organism adapts, and that's created heterozygosity. But then they're saying, no, that can't happen. So I mean, it's like which is it?
Donnie from Standing for Truth, the example he gives with ERVs, for example, of God apparently created these retroviral elements in the genome to mimic viruses that presumably didn't exist yet at creation, and God just put them there, and then at some point just created virus. Like it's internally inconsistent.
Yeah. And then the there's a handful of ERVs that they find. I think I found 22 of them one time when I searched, and I've searched everywhere for these things, right? And there's this one, I forget where it is exactly, but it's basically it has, I think it functions in the placenta to keep the mother from rejecting the placenta, right? And it's an HERV, human and endogenous retrovirus, right? And it has analogs of actual, like, functional ERVs maybe 50 million years ago, or 100 million years ago, or 200 million years ago. And then it's been mutated, right? And this particular gene, do you remember the name of it, Andrew? It's a big creationist.
Syncytin genes, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. But if you look at this ERV, going from that, basically from the one that is a little more pure and may have been capable of jumping sometime in the last 100 million years, this one is mutated all over the place, and it's truncated so that there's only a small piece of it. So most of it is gone, and basically that has an effect. So Donnie's claim is that God put this, he created this gene here, right? Then he allowed it to mutate all over the place so it no longer jumps. But when he created it, it then jumped over here, and then it mutated. Then it became a functional protein. I mean, why didn't God just put a fucking functional gene over here to do what he wanted to do? Because obviously Eve is going to have children, and you don't want her to reject the placenta, right? So, I mean, how does his stuff make any sense? And he gets away with this over and over again.
Well, I
that
think
these jumping genes.
He's claiming that it was originally put in there as a gene, but that it had to look like an ENV gene from a retrovirus for some reason in order to perform this function.
In order to reject the placenta, right? Yeah, and that's probably how the thing did work.
Well,
but I mean, why?
Because I've looked at the literature on this, and as far as I can tell, different mammal lineages, because this is found, these syncytin genes are found between at least some marsupials and most placental mammals, euphorians.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is when you look at the different lineages of mammals, you actually see that they use different syncytin genes, presumably for slightly different types of placentas they have, because not all mammals or not all euphorians have the same cell-cell fusion going on in that particular type of placenta. So maybe it has something to do with that.
Yeah, but okay, so if he created a functional virus over here, for the placenta, why are there homologs all over the genome that seem to have, been jumped all over the damn place? They're in the middle of introns and everywhere else. And it's like, I've got some illustrations of how many transposons are in our genome. Our introns are filthy with them, just absolutely filthy with them. It's amazing.
Presumably they're saying God created these transposable elements to copy and paste themselves throughout the genome, because in some instances they can lead to these beneficial functions, but at the same time, in other cases, they often lead to harm to the organism. So cancer and other things.
Yeah.
So seems pretty convoluted.
Yeah, there's 700 some zinc fingers, and one of the functions of all these zinc fingers is that they will match one of those sections of DNA and sequester it as heterochromatin if it has a transposon that jumped into the wrong place. And of course, natural selection has to work because the organism won't survive at all if it doesn't get rid of that, if it doesn't hide that transposon. So basically, it creates heterochromatin. And there's that's one of the functions of zinc fingers. So, and we have a host of them that'll match all kinds of things.
Heterochromatin.
Yep. So anyway,
fingers is confused. Sal.
They're just so confused. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know.
What Icarus put in that comment there?
Oh, what's that?
Said the function of zinc fingers is to confuse.
Well, Cell talks about one zinc finger like it's a special protein, right? There's 700 of them, and they get duplicated and reproduced all the time. And then I was talking to Cell.
It's topoisomerase usually.
Oh, that one too. That's another one. He only mentions one version of topoisomerase, and I think there's 12 of them or something like that. It's a family of genes.
So, and Austin, is there a term for the constant search for a silver bullet to refute evolution? That seems to be its own special kind of fallacy, but I don't know what it would be called.
I think that's just obsession.
Yeah.
And cherry picking.
Yeah, I call it.
That's a great question, Scott. The closest I've ever found is the Flick model. If you're familiar with the Flick model.
Nope.
No, I've not heard of that.
FLICC. It's basically a phylogeny for pseudoscientific techniques. The F stands for fake experts. L is like lopsided expectations or something like that. I is impossible standards. C is cherry picking. And then the other C is confirmation bias or something like. There's like 30 or 40 different tactics that all fall under. That can all be seen as like a version of 5 root tactics that these specific like pseudosciences use. As far as the reason why they do it, I think it's like socio-political. Like they're just angry, they're jealous at evolution because it actually has evidence.
Well, I think
It draws people away from the faith.
These tactics
You know,
work.
people
It's
figure
most
out
simple.
that evolution is true, and Ken Ham and Kent Hovind lied to them, and they stop believing. And when religion has very narcissistic attributes, and one of the most like common attributes to narcissists is they hate it when people reject their shared fantasy, because it reminds them that on some level they know it's a fantasy. When other people buy into their shared fantasy, it helps them deepen their belief that it's reality. And when people don't, it's like immediately reminds them that it's not real. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just
So
part of
here's
human nature. I remember there was a time where my son, when he was a young teenager, really wanted to believe in Bigfoot. And he would always ask me what I thought about it. Did I believe in Bigfoot or whatever? And I would say, well, it's fun to read about and think about, but I just don't think there's any evidence that Bigfoot is a real thing. And he would get so disappointed. He really wouldn't get mad at me, but he would get upset that I just wouldn't commit. I wouldn't engage with that on that kind of believing level. I hope I didn't scar him for life, but I just thought, well, I just need to I just need to tell him there's no evidence for it. I remember wanting to believe UFOs were real way back when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I remember they had these pulp magazines about UFOs, where, they had that cheap newsprint kind of pages, but it was a magazine, and, you would run your hand across it and the ink would smudge, but it was, just constantly, telling stories about UFOs and encounters with UFOs back in the 1800s, encounters with UFOs and aliens last week. It was just it was just fun to read about and think about. And there was no lack of literature about it. But, I matured and I realized that, certain things aren't believable if you test them with evidence and logic. And so I had to kind of grow up and realize that UFO stories are pretty much, fantasy.
When I was a teenager,
it's
I wanted love potions to be real.
The thing that virtually guarantees that there's other life in the universe is also the same thing that virtually guarantees that we are never going to communicate face to face with that other life. And that is the sheer immensity of the universe. The fact that it is so freaking massive. It would be almost narcissistic to say there isn't some other form of life somewhere else in the universe. But it's so large that even if there is, if they send us a message at light speed, even if they know we exist, the odds are they're so far away, we're never going to get that message. But I think there probably is other life, but I don't think any of the UFOs that we've seen on Earth are extraterrestrial vessels. That's the other thing is, yes, UFOs are real. It just means unidentified flying objects, and we've seen objects in the air that we haven't been able to identify. That doesn't make them extraterrestrial spaceships.
I was just referring to the 98% of all the other verbiage about UFOs that you read about, because it gets specific.
Fair enough.
Speculative, and people eat it up, and that's the stuff that's not.
What are the two things you immediately picture when you hear those three letters in that order? You picture the silver spinning disc spaceship, and you picture the gray alien face. Yeah, no, I get it.
And I hear that Chris Carter X-Files theme music in my head.
Yeah, well, I guess that example kind of reminds me of the distinction between, well, when they say, "Oh, you're being closed-minded, you're not accepting my idea with that is this evidence for it." Well, no, I'm I'm being open-minded. I'm just not being gullible.
Yeah. So Rebecca, here's her 4 reasons to reject evolution. Proposed mechanisms grossly insufficient. Citation? Mutations degrade.
Standard are insufficient. What do you mean by that?
Yep. If mutations degrade, how does created heterozygosity work?
Right.
Like
Well, this is what I want to say. Like, this is another contradiction: is if genetic entropy and loss of information due to mutations is what they think, then how is the genome also nearly 100% functional according to them?
Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing. Because there's so much mutation. So what is the other one here? Integrated systems require foresight. Oh, really? You just pull that out of your ass.
Like,
Numerous chicken and egg problems. It's like, oh my God, it just never ends.
It's funny that the ones they usually bring up are the ones that are pre-Luca or near the origin of life, where we still have a gap in our knowledge conveniently.
Yep. I got to go back over to where's my creationist nonsense folder? Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought this was cool. What the hell? Let's see. Apology, supernatural powers, God's dilemma, hand of God dilemma. Andrew. Oh, yeah, I got you here. Rebecca's thoughts, L.M. Hunter. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. 130.56. I got it. I think he's so cute. This guy.
Who's Sal?
Yeah, he's just cute. Listen.
So, I just wanted to throw that out because Andrew had asked for a citation. Yeah. I was backing Cornelius's point, and then he said citation, and there you got it. No common ancestor for all proteins, and even at the beginning of life. And not only that, we still have them in critical cellular processes. So what do we do about that? Did they just poof out? That's what I was saying.
I think it's so cute how he gets so excited about it, but
right.
But
yeah,
okay.
That's a good argument. Yeah.
So he's saying, okay, there's no common ancestor. There's all these different proteins in prokaryotes all over. And wait a minute, Sal. Why do you think there has to be one common ancestor for all proteins? Okay, the reason that prokaryotes and archaea for 3 billion years have all these different genes. I think they've identified, they're identifying hundreds of thousands of them, all these different proteins, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that the functional protein space is gigantic. And it tells you that there are many, many places where protein families could have evolved from in prokaryotes, right? And he's all excited because of this paper.
Well, it was interesting because
this problem is, so what do you? And not only that, we still.
Sorry.
Because it was interesting because the example he brought up that I think he's alluding to here was the fact that the free domains of life have non-homologous DNA polymerases, which I wasn't aware of at first. So I obviously questioned that. That's what I meant by citation needed. And fair enough. Okay, I went and read some of the primary literature on this, and yeah, okay, they do use different DNA or proteins for that specific part of DNA replication in bacteria, archaea, eukarya. So fair enough, but that doesn't mean that therefore all proteins don't have a Luca moment.
And there's a lot of different DNA codes too. If you look across basically single-celled organisms, they're identifying all of these slight differences in the DNA code.
You can still tell derivatives of a basic code, kind of.
Right.
But obviously they've made changes to it, so it's not immutable in that sense.
Yeah, the thing is that the single-celled mass that was in the ocean basically for 3 billion years generated, like, when cellular life first happened, right? I call it the cellular event. You know, when the lipid membrane first, started to become a thing.
Right.
There was, at that time, there were trillions of different proteins that were, some fraction of them had functions in all of these, different little cellular units. And then they basically got encapsulated in membranes and started reproducing. And at that time, if you draw a circle around this massive amount of trillions and trillions of proteins, it's obvious how proteins evolved. And the other thing is that it's very easy. Let's see if I got a shot of this right here. I'm not sure if I do or not. Let's see. Do I have it?
Oh, yeah, this was the other thing I that he got upset with me about was when I mentioned that we have created or observed the formation of very, very simple protocells and lipid bilayer membranes in the laboratory. Or, well, he called them soap bubbles,
yeah,
basically, and he got pretty agitated about that. But
right.
I thought that was
so. What I got a picture of here is a very, very simple proteins. There's only 2 amino acids: valine, glycine, valine, alanine, valine, cysteine, valine, tyrosine, leucine, cysteine. All of these. Okay, all of these different possibilities of just a couple, handful of amino acids. What you'll notice about these is these are molecules, motherfuckers. These things, these carboxyl groups right here, they're functional. That sulfur group right there, sulfur, what is that, a sulfide? I think I forget what it is. Anyway, that is functional. This is functional. That oxygen right there, this amine group right here, that does something chemically. So even dipeptides are going to have an effect on a solution of chemicals, right? They're going to do something. And as you build these things up and they start to fold and twist, and they have all of these different landscapes with these magnetic sort of atoms like oxygen and nitrogen and sulfur, they are going to start to fold up, and they're going to do something to other proteins and other compounds. And basically that's how life works. And they just don't seem to get that part.
It's called a phenol group, by the way. The SH bond there.
It's called a what? Thiol?
Yeah, thiol group.
Thiol, okay. Yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of like the OH. So OH-SH, because oxygen and sulfur are pretty identical. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Where are we at here? So he shows this paper, and he's really proud of it. And this paper tells you that there's a just vast diversity of proteins in single-celled organisms today. And we've only just scratched the surface as far as finding. Right. So that tells you that the functional protein space is thick with function, is what it tells you.
Yeah, I think
trillions. So. Yeah.
I mean, we kind of knew that already. So.
Yeah, we knew that, but they don't. They don't know it. Let's see. So let's see. Examining origins. Hasn't Cell personally said that anything is possible because of God. So Travis Stratham was referring to the last video where I showed you all the parts where Cell said God can do anything. So
hasn't Sal personally said that anything is possible because of God? Pretty sure I've seen a clip like that. Now, this is in response to you saying there are limits. But what we're talking about, Travis, is the limits of things that can happen by natural processes, not by the hand of God. So what are the limits there? So the point is, you have believed something, a story about what natural processes can do. And you've actually given supernatural powers to natural processes. So what you need is supernatural power to make those evolutionary changes come about. And
Right. Like
Keep
gene
using that word.
duplication.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
No. That's her whole thing, why she thinks it's a religion, because, we just come up with stories. Well, some stories.
I always knew it would eventually happen, that they would say that evolution is so powerful and so amazing and so miraculous that it's not only true, the fact that it is true is proof of God. And I mean, I guess it's better if they accept evolution at least. I don't care if they want to say that evolution proves God. I don't think it does.
I don't think
but they need to work on the at least accepting evolution part. Like, oh man, no, but this does kind of show, like, yeah, this whole video could just be about kettle logic, because here's some more of it.
Yep.
You can't prove my idea false if it's not able to be proven false to begin with.
You know what? I just asked Copilot about Sal Cordova's zinc finger argument.
Yeah.
And the Copilot mapped his reasoning to the flick.
Really?
Stick or whatever. Yeah. I'm going to put it in a page and
okay, cool.
See if I can get it uploaded to look at. I could read it to you, but that would be kind of boring.
I find that shocking. I am shocked by that. This is my shocked voice, in case you didn't know.
Yeah. Let's see here. Interesting one. I'm trying to find a little part here. We'll see if this is it. I think it is. Let it play.
And so it's probably gotten worse. And so we have pools of biologists that study this stuff on the IT side. So
sorry. Did you say that they found many similar functions but different, like, base pairs? Is that what? That's really interesting. Because now the situation of the ERV, what does that tell us about the ERVs then, right? It makes you.
Okay, you see that? He claps many different sequences, amino acid sequences have the same function. And he claps over that. That's also evolution. It's just like, what? I don't know. Anyway, there's another part here.
Just because something is similar, doesn't mean it's, it came from that, it evolved from that. You know what I mean?
Well, this is what Rebecca likes. This is convergent, quote unquote, convergent evolution, but different. But it's similar shape, different spelling. Why would evolution choose that? The theory among creation.
Why would evolution choose that?
It's not choosing anything.
Yeah, it doesn't choose things.
If you're going to swim underwater, it usually helps to have a tail fin. That's why tail fins keep evolving.
Why would God choose that? Basically.
Or well,
why did he make everything unique?
Why would he give sharks cartilaginous fins, these slightly different fins compared to a whale with bony fingers in them? And then why would he give all the other fish different fin rays from that, and yada yada yada?
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Rebecca's thoughts. Andrew on Hunter. I think you were asking about Hunter. Yeah. When you came in.
And then I started roboting. I don't know what was going on. My internet just suddenly cut out.
Yeah. Yep. Let me see. There's a part I want to get to here, and I'm going to have to. You guys go ahead.
And I was sad because I really wanted to rant about Hunter with her.
Oh, you want to rant about Hunter?
No, I said I was really sad that I couldn't continue the conversation with Rebecca because I really want to rant about Hunter and the silly arguments he was making.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
What email address can I send this link to you?
Mike.
Okay, I'm gonna send it. I think you'll be able to get to it. It's my Google. It's a Google Sheets of that Copilot thing about the zinc fingers and the in the Flick argument or the Flick test. See if you get it eventually.
Oh, let's see. We'll check it out. Well, where did I just type that? Got it.
It's like Austin Way.
Is it all screwed
Let's
up?
see. No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I just gotta drag it over here.
I just thought it'd be fun to compare it to that model.
Who joined us? Or
Did Austin? I guess he must have lost his connection at some point.
Yeah, for a second there. Yeah, no, I was gonna say Sal is the Flick model. The F
yeah,
in Flick,
he embodies it.
the F in Flick.
The Flick was
fake
made
experts.
flesh, and they named him
Sal is fake experts, and he's part of the creationist bulk fake experts technique that they use, where they have dozens of fake experts, like him and Stephen Meyer and Casey Luskin. And some of them aren't even fully fake in the fake expert way, but like freaking Jensen, he has a what, PhD from Harvard in a relevant subject or some bull crap, doesn't he? Yeah. Yep. Sal is that he is definitely on the Flick model there for sure.
But Jensen admits that he just got the degree for cred, and that he was always going to do what he does now, which is sell out his integrity to creation science.
I think that's what they typically say anyway when they create professional medicines.
So, Scott, you want to walk us through this? Scott?
Sorry, I was muted. For some reason, I had gone up into Copilot and asked about, is there a formal term or a formal name for this kind of, wanting a silver bullet? And I used Sal Cordova's zinc fingers as a example, and it said, since you asked about the Flick, the Flick model earlier, and you're asking about Sal Cordova, why don't we just combine these two? And so it created a chart, fake expert. And I think you mentioned it, Austin. Cordova presents himself as a molecular biophysics researcher, but his credentials are largely in engineering physics, not evolutionary biology. He often cites fringe or non-peer-reviewed sources. So
you didn't come up with this chat GPT or
Copilot. That's what I've got.
Came up with it?
Yeah, that's what I've got on my laptop right here, and it just kind of did that for me. Of course, always listening, audience and side chatters, always follow up with your own research into this stuff, so you make sure that ChatGPT or Copilot and other large language model AIs aren't lying to you or themselves spreading misinformation.
Yeah, they still.
So he's famous for this. That's kind of cool.
Well, he's exposed himself to the internet, and the internet to AI knows can compile all of his arguments. L. That was F. L in his logical fallacies. His argument relies heavily on argument from incredulity. I can't imagine how this evolved, therefore it didn't. Also flirts with false dichotomy. Either evolution explains it perfectly or design wins. Does anybody think that is not fair to Sal? Please
I think it's too fair to Sal. It only listed 2 of the fallacies he uses. He uses dozens of fallacies. But
and I think Rebecca's middle name should be incredulity, because that's the only argument that she has, basically. Her whole thing. Okay, impossible expectations.
Demands that evolutionary theory explain every molecular detail with precision, ignoring the probabilistic and historical nature of mechanisms, of evolutionary mechanisms. Cherry picking focuses narrowly on zinc fingers while ignoring the vast body of evidence supporting protein evolution, including homologous structures and functional intermediates.
And okay, he cherry picked one zinc finger, I think ZN 136 or ZF 136, and there are 700 of them, and they are similar in that they have the zinc finger motif, which makes multiple copies basically, and the knuckle part of it is always different on every one of them. And this is like a great example of protein evolution. And he claims it's a knockdown killer for evolution, but zinc fingers are a really good example of gene duplication and finding new function for them. That's why you need to take zinc, boys and girls, by the way.
That's right. We also have
you don't need to take zinc, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Vitamin supplements are generally just ingredients for expensive urine. You get most of what you need as long as you eat good balanced diet with fruits and vegetables.
Which nobody does. Take
fair
zinc.
enough.
Okay, from what I've seen of biochemistry, you take zinc. Everybody should take a zinc supplement. Basically, it's the one thing that I never miss taking, and I haven't been sick for 5 years, like other than kidney cancer. But okay, so yeah, pretty good, Scott. Cool. Additional fallacies. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
you missed the conspiracy theories part there, Mike.
What's that?
After cherry picking is conspiracy theories.
Oh, okay. Conspiracy theories. That's part of flight. Suppressing dissent or ignoring evidence of design. Hallmark motivator.
And they claim this all the time. All the time they claim science is suppressing them. But Sal himself recently presented at a scientific conference. Of course, everybody was just like, okay, great. And then immediately went back to ignoring him. But yeah.
Well, he said they invited him back next year because they needed a little bit of lighthearted diversion.
Yeah.
Anyway, he probably got up there and talked about his goddamn protein orchards, and everybody's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
You didn't watch the video?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude, it was even worse than that. It was like all about philosophy. He was
fitness.
Like just talking about how science needs to keep the door open for God.
Oh yeah. And he was talking about fitness too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He has a role. Like he thinks fitness has something to do with survival of the fittest and engineering perfection, and he is just all screwed up about what fitness is and how they use it in population genetics. Zach Hancock has tried to correct him several times and failed. So anyway, we got some more here, Scott. Additional fallacies and cognitive biases.
Yes, we do. Silver bullet syndrome, which we talked about. Confirmation bias, that's a standard one. Strawman fallacy misrepresents evolutionary theory as requiring perfect step-by-step molecular explanations for every protein. That's also impossible expectation. That's kind of repeated.
Actually, for some of them, for some of those orphan genes, we can actually see what happened. And I have an example of that in a paper where basically a long non-coding RNA got turned into a coding protein because of a mutation that created a start codon, which is kind of cool. And there's a few other things that do it. So anyway, scientific response. Zinc finger proteins?
Is just what we've been explaining that, they don't understand how evolution actually works.
Okay.
Modularity. Homologous zinc fingers across species evident. Also, you find zinc fingers in prokaryotes. There's the zinc finger motif. They found it in a couple prokaryotes, so we can see where it came from. And let's see, what was the other one? There was something else.
These are protein motifs, not the whole proteins themselves.
Right. Yeah, it's just a small part of it that makes it a zinc finger. The rest of the zinc finger protein has all kinds of other little widgets that are attached to it that do various things.
Just like
anyway.
how a lot of proteins have beta pleated sheets and alpha helices. That doesn't mean that alpha helices and beta pleated sheets can't evolve somehow.
Yep. I got a little, I think I found the part that's a little treat now. Just listen to this carefully.
Cornelius Hunter alluded to it. He said, well, he invokes multiple universes. I'm like, okay, so I mean, how is that really that much? I mean, I thought believing in God was outrageous. How about multiple universes?
Sel thought believing in God was outrageous?
No,
Did you hear what he said?
We believe that believing in God is outrageous. In other words, oh, you guys say God is outrageous, but it's outrageous to believe in multiple universes.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
you know, well, Cornelius Hunter alluded to it. He said, well, he invokes multiple universes. I'm like, okay, so I mean, how is that really that much? I mean, I thought believing in God was outrageous. How about multiple?
No, he said I thought believing in God was outrageous. He didn't say we thought.
He's taking the evolutionary or atheist position there and saying,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
God was
He's saying, I thought that atheists think that believing in God is outrageous.
So he didn't say that. He said basically he shortened it somehow. But anyway, so here's the thing about multiverses, and he says it in another part of the video. He says that we can't observe it, we can't test it, we can't see it or interact with it. Same thing with God. So if you think believing in multiple universes is outrageous, so is believing in God, because you can't see it.
For certain types of multiverses, there are ways to test them if you can get really creative with them. That's why the multiverse isn't the way they phrase it is that, oh, it's just we invoke the multiverse to explain the apparent fine tuning of certain constants and whatnot, but really it's a prediction of certain models, like obviously with different types of multiverses, like many worlds and certain inflationary models, but it's not like someone just invokes them out of hand to explain something. They are derived from actual theoretical models.
Well, Kunin had that one paragraph in a book from about 20 years ago where he said, something about multiverses because he came up with the improbability of protein evolution or something. And I forget which book it was in, but anyway, it was. So anyway, they that one little paragraph in the middle of a huge book with a lot of technical details. That's the one that they always talk about because Kunin got drunk.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens sometimes with some people or some intelligent folks out there, but like, yeah, it's not there. Well, he's presenting it like a false dichotomy here.
Yeah, and I certainly don't have to resort to multiple universes to explain liver evolution or organogenesis or any of that shit.
Right.
And I don't.
Yeah, it's like we don't even need the multiverse for that part.
So, guess which other person I asked Copilot to apply the Flick model to?
Jensen?
Hunter or Rebecca?
Rebecca.
Okay.
And so, and it pretty much did the same thing because they do the same thing. Fake expert, positions herself as authority on evolution without formal training in evolutionary biology. What she does is a little more subtle, and it goes like this. Hey, I'm just a regular person, and I should be able to understand evolution and be able to take it all in and refer it and comment on it. And therefore I can, and I do. But she doesn't. She doesn't get it.
The standard, I'm just asking questions, you see.
Yeah. I'm just asking questions. That's right. Logical fallacies. Relies on argument from incredulity and false dichotomy. If evolution isn't perfect, creationism wins. I don't know. Of course, we have our favorite evolutionary biology teacher, Dr. Daniel Stern Cardinal, is in the side chat. And if he wants to weigh in on how accurate Copilot is, because he's had a lot of experience with talking to Rebecca as well as Mike. And Austin, have you had much encounter with Rebecca? Austin?
Yes. So,
okay, so
I've commented on her videos, leaving just dozens of comments full of sources and information. And a while back, she just like
banned you?
She started to get really angry and upset with me, and like was overtly like, insulting me and calling me names and stuff a little bit.
Oh wow.
And then she posted this poll about, what are your beliefs? And I was like, okay, that's a cool idea. But I saw some issues with the poll. Like the one option for an evolutionary viewpoint wasn't about evidence. It said, I love me some evolution. And I was like, no, that doesn't really make sense. So I posted a comment, evolution because of the overwhelming evidence. And she, of course, replied with some sarcastic, everybody always talks about this evidence, but I haven't ever seen blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, to which I replied, it's cleverly hidden in textbooks and museums and all around the natural world. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
that you haven't seen it.
You can't ask a Copilot or ChatGPT about specific theories or whatever, because they're just tight-lipped. They won't tell you.
But then I in response, I posted like 17 polls on my page about various beliefs, just to kind of like, because I liked your idea of this interactive activity, and I thought it could be built upon, maybe improved a little bit. So yeah, and then she replied to those, and I don't know, we've been talking about the data I collected in my polls and the data she collected in her 2 polls, and we've had pleasant interactions, and we've also had interactions where it was like contentious.
Yeah. So what we're looking at here is the SMIM45 gene, and in the rhesus, you can see the ACG. Basically,
is this another
that makes
orphan
this? Yeah, it's an orphan gene. And they found that it is expressed in embryogenesis in the brain, human brain, and when they stuck it into a mouse, and the mouse ended up with a bigger cortex. It had like a swollen cortex, right? So they think it's one of the things that made humans have this gigantic cortex with 16 billion neurons, as opposed to a chimp, which has 7, and a rhesus, which probably has about 4 billion neurons, right? But you can see right here that the ACG got mutated because the C turned to a T, and we ended up with ATG, which is a start codon. And basically that causes the protein to be transcribed. And there's a few other little things here that could have changed the nuclear export signal so that it got exported from the nucleus and got translated and ended up creating these primates with bigger brains. That's just one of the wild ass theories that we're running down and trying to prove. Anyway, but I mean, you can see just one mutation. And of course, Donnie Deal says there's 100 mutations per generation. It's amazing that we aren't dead 100 times over. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
That's another thing if Dr. Dan wants to come in and talk about orphan genes.
Yeah, I put a link, Dr. Dan.
I know we made a video on it at some point.
I pinned it. Anyway, the other thing to note here is the homology. Basically, that gene didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It has a lot of similarity to the rhesus, which separated from us a long time ago. And so the material was there, and these mutations just, created a viable gene that did something. And that is evolution, boys and girls. That's how it works. for God's sake.
Hey,
So
I
they
don't know
use
about
proof.
that. My friend Colvin told me that evolution means a
Oh,
dog
yeah.
gives birth to a whale.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep. I saw that happen once on acid, but
hey Scott, can you highlight let's see, the third comment up from Dr. Dan on the genetic entropy paper?
still hasn't. Let's see.
Because I think the most Donnie has responded to that paper respond in air quotes here is when Zach went on that debate with Jerry Bergman and explained that one of the graphs in that paper, and I think that's all kind of Donnie's at least as far as I can tell taken from it is Zach's explanation of that. That's what he's basing it off of right now.
So I take it the GE paper is about genetic entropy, or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's the paper that Dr. Dan and Zach Hancock wrote.
Okay.
A while ago. Creationists still haven't formally responded to it.
Well, I'm sure he's being really meticulous and going through it carefully, pulling out the, find a fallacy checklist just to make sure his response is coherent. And, it just takes a while.
I guess it takes several months, huh? Go through a paper.
Oh, here's
Given that
another
he
one.
Read other papers, apparently.
Paul Nelson spends a lot of time on orphan genes.
That's
basically
right. Paul Nelson.
He was on with this crazy guy. He's the guy that yells at people in the park, I think. I forget what his name is. Suburb or something or another. He's always screaming at people in the park about evolution, that sort of thing. And let's see, what do we have here? Universal
His
Common
name is
Ancestor.
Sabor Ahmad.
Yeah,
Me and
okay.
him were
Anyway,
crossing horns too.
Yeah, Paul Nelson does a 7-part video on orphan genes, and he's a brilliant guy. He does a lot of philosophy of science, but his bias is just unbelievably simple. I mean, you can see through what he's doing. It's really quite amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the guy who did the Dennis Noble debate. Dr. Dan. He said Dennis Noble like 860,000 times.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to be I don't want to be statistically inaccurate. He said it a lot. I can't put a minimum number on the amount of times he invoked Dennis Noble. But I would say it's probably somewhere around like 30 or 40 at least.
He invoked Dennis Noble in the way that creationists invoke Richard Dawkins for atheists.
Yep. And this tribolium embryo, it's a red something or another beetle. I forget, it's a certain kind of beetle. And its limbs kind of develop inside out. And it's the only one that has this gene, this flip-flop orphan gene that does it. But of course, there's homology with all the other beetles in that gene before it became functional and caused the embryo to flip its limbs inside out, which is one mutation can make a change like that in an organism where it'll create a different kind of limb. And this is more evidence of evolution, Rebecca.
Yeah, especially with like Hox genes.
The thing is, it's a very common issue. I don't think Rebecca or Sal understands what scientific evidence is, or they have a selective understanding of it that fails when it comes to evolution. They treat evidence when it comes to evolution like it needs to be like 2 + 2 = 4. Like it has to be proved. It has to be proven. It has to be proved. Like, which really isn't what science is trying to do necessarily. Science is actually trying to do the opposite. It's trying to disprove all of its theories. And if it fails to, it calls them theories. But Rebecca thinks like you need, I don't think she understands what scientific evidence is when it comes to evolution, because you can show her things like hey, here's change in the paleo record. And she's like, oh, well, that just means those are just bones. That doesn't mean anything. You know, that's not evidence. And it's like, well, it's definitely data that fits a specific model. That's what we would call scientific evidence, but they're using a different definition. It's a trick. It's one of the common tricks of redefining basic terms. One of the tricks Dr. Dan has done many videos about.
Yeah. If you're trying to talk speed, I think you're muted.
Another gene with one of the oops. Basically, it was considered one of the famous orphan genes, C22 ORF45. But they have since taken it down as a gene because they couldn't find any real evidence. And the, let's see, full-length transcript in which of the predicted short open reading frames is translated, they don't know. So basically, they took it down. And they state that here. I think this is from NCBI or whatever. And that happens to a lot of orphan genes. We get a little more information about them, and it's like, oh, they do something else. But there are definitely orphan genes in every organism because I am not a beetle. I am not a chimp. So I've got some genes, obviously, that are different than a chimp. And that's how evolution works.
Or they're being regulated differently.
Regulated differently. That's the other thing. Yep. Oh, let's see if I can take myself down again here.
You know, what's interesting, though, is there's this thing called apoptosis and atavisms, where sometimes part of your genome can be expressed in the ancestral way. And that it is in that way that whales are sometimes born with hind legs,
yep,
and why humans are sometimes born with tails.
Yep.
More evidence that fits the or data rather that fits the model of evolution. That particular evidence I've never heard a good creationist argument for. Like, why would God make people be born with tails sometimes, perfectly fitting the evolutionary model? Perfectly.
I think the creationists go with this argument. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, right.
The creator can do anything he wants.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, why did he take the tails off the other apes and make it more like a human? Then
the creator can do anything he wants. See,
creator can do anything he wants. Why did the creator create a chimp, which obviously has a lot of homology with us? Why did he create a chimp? According to Sal Cordova, it's so that we can do medical experiments on them. Did you know that?
If Sal ever does a medical experiment on a chimp, I'm going to punch him in the throat.
Yeah. But that's his argument about why God created chimps to be almost identical to us, because God wanted us to be able to do medical experiments.
That's freaking insane.
Yeah.
And then they created slightly more God way so that we couldn't do experiments on them, apparently.
Why didn't God
Honestly,
just create
I don't love the fact that we do experiments on mice.
Yeah. Why didn't God just create an ERV that fixed the medical problem instead of giving us chimps to experiment on and having us do it ourselves? Because God can do anything, right? He could have created an ERV to cure cancer.
I guess because some free will explanation or something.
I don't know. We're coming up on 2 hours, guys. Getting tired.
Yeah.
According to the book of Jasher, ancient societies were fucking with genetics that were mixing animal genes with human genes.
I think
like Isle of Dr. Moreau style stuff.
YouTube OG Dawa Islam apologists and face planted for debunking atheism. Been running conservative Islamic theological circuits these days. Yep. Interesting.
Yeah,
he is overly excited.
His whole shtick is pedantry. He comes up and he goes, well, what do you think evolution is? And then you say mutation and natural selection. He goes, ha 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 ha, mutation and natural selection. You fool, you stupid dummy.
Yeah. His park videos are just intolerable.
Yeah.
For one thing, the audio is horrible on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. I got to put some links in here for the videos that I showed. And I don't know.
The description.
I'm ready to get out of here.
Yeah, me too. I got some dinner waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got dinner waiting. I got some wonderful pork steak and potatoes and gravy. And,
Nice.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking of eating some more toast.
Oh yeah.
Also.
I should eat toast. Okay, I got one video. Now I get two videos.
Any final closing thoughts, you guys?
Oh, just I don't fucking know why I'm even doing this anymore. I'm just these people are so dense. I don't understand how they can be so, like. Okay, it is worth going to Sabor's channel and watching that Paul Nelson thing. It's really, really dense, and he's got a lot of stuff in there, and it's really interesting how, with all of his brilliance and his work, that you can see his bias just seeping out of him, and yet he's talking about us being biased. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like I don't particularly enjoy their videos, but I go through some of them, or I listen to some of them on fast playback speed. Just
okay, this one
off chance that they present a novel argument.
This 7-part series, you want to listen to it more carefully than that because it's thick with a lot of really interesting information about theories and stuff like that. And I think he gets some of that right.
Yet, so.
Yeah, it's very different than most Sabor videos. Most of them kind of suck. I mean, it's useless.
Now, for those of you asking, why am I doing this? Why should I do this? I am thinking about my 3 little grandchildren that are growing up in the darkness of fundamentalist infested North Texas, and they're actually going to Christian schooling and stuff. They're going to be taught all the bullshit creationist stuff. And I just really want them to be, as they grow older, to be able to go to actual scientifically based information and find out that they're being lied to and science is being misrepresented and they're having things withheld from them that they need to know.
When they're teenagers, Scott, they're going to want to see Grandpa's videos on YouTube, and these videos are still going to be here. So
yeah. Well, I don't know that they're going to want to see Grandpa's stuff, but especially with my language that I use.
When they're teenagers, they're going to do it. They're going to look you up.
They're going to want unhinged Grandpa. Unhinged.
Yeah, I've got some curious great nieces that basically have been trying to pry the name of my channel out of their parents. and I keep trying to drop it. It's like, I do answers in atheism, girls.
But remember, listener, viewer, that especially people like Dr. Dan and Dr. Zach Hancock and Joel Duff, there are children out there now that are going to need the information. Don't give up on putting it out there. Maybe practice repackaging it for different age levels or something. But there are children out there that need to be able to find that information. And of course, then we have this Christian neo-fascist, white supremacist political system trying to take root that is going to be trying to remove that information. So we need more information out there than can be removed by a fascist government.
Are you pounding on a desk?
Am I talking about a what? What?
Are you pounding on a desk?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I'm getting riled up because I'm thinking of my grandchildren in the future.
So, do you know what the surest sign of our streams about the end is?
Midnight comes. Exactly. Yes. How you doing, asshole? I haven't seen you in a while.
We talked not too long ago, right? About a month? 3 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
What is the animal in your icon there? I can't make it out.
It's an albino raccoon.
Oh, nice. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no,
they found one? I want an albino raccoon.
It's like it looks cute. It looks kind of like a cat, but also like a dog, and also like a weasel.
Yeah, right.
It's like, but it's not black and white, so it can't be a raccoon.
I want.
Well, I mean, it's a raccoon, just an albino one. Like it's.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Solo layout. Oh my God, it is.
I went to Google and looked up images of albino raccoons, and they look very nice.
It's a thing? No shit. I got to get one.
Lots of pictures. They're cute.
Thank you for bringing such a cute animal to end the stream on.
Well, Mike, all you have to do is start feeding them, and eventually you'll get an albino raccoon, because you get so many raccoons if you feed them.
Do you know what I'm gonna feed them? I got a couple bags of Walmart shrimp, which are radioactive.
Oh, and that might bleach them.
And I can feed them to my raccoons, and they'll turn albino. Mutated. Yeah, cool. That's a good idea. I was wondering what I was going to do with those radioactive shrimp.
Or you might end up with a albino kaiju raccoon.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Or they shoot lasers in their eyes.
Okay.
No, my final thought was going to be very much similar to Scott's final thought, which is basically just think about all the biggest problems that the planet faces. The spread of anti-intellectualism, the erosion of democracy, the destruction of essential ecosystems, the decline of biodiversity, climate impact, pandemics, quarantines, food insecurity, overpopulation,
vaccine denial.
Creationism is on the wrong side of like every single freaking one of these things. How is that even possible? It's mind-blowing to me.
I know.
If you buy into one conspiracy, you tend to buy into a few others.
Exactly.
There's got to be a name for that.
For that reason that I say fight like hell. Call this out for what it is. It's pseudoscience. It's political propaganda. It's science denial. It's trying to drag us back into the dark ages and take our liberty away from us so they can treat scientists like they treated Giordano Bruno and Galileo and Copernicus, so they can do things like that legally again. So that if you say something that the government doesn't like, or if you do research that the government doesn't like, they can punish you. And
they're kind of doing it indirectly anyway right now.
Yeah, we're already there. The enemies are already through the gate and are burning the courtyard down. So if there was ever a time to get up and fight, it would be now.
If we're going down fighting everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep working.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Mike. And then this beautiful albino raccoon, that is the possible future. This is what we can have if we stand up and we fight and we win the fight. Is this right here? That's right. So remember why you fight and remember what you're fighting for.
Okay, kids, we're out.
Yeah.
Get it.
Freedom. And if you, on your last day, could give up all the days between now and then. Yeah.
Okay.
Braveheart.
Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? How did I remove? Okay. Anyway, okay. I'm ending the stream, guys. So
before you do, real quick, Dave, we all love you.
Oh, tomorrow.
Rest up.
Yeah.
Get better. And yes, tomorrow we're doing a stream on my channel with T. Savo, the computational biologist. So stop by and listen to us. We're going to yap about extremophiles and enzymes and protein synthesis and folding and all the things Sal likes to talk about. And only we're talking with a real expert about them. So it should be very illuminating.
So you're going to be talking about the extremophiles.
I'm on at midnight.
Files. No. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. Let's see. Where the hell is it here? Okay, Austin channel. We got it right here. Okay, I posted it. Want me to put it in private chat?
That's fine. Thank you.
Oh, that's
You got
actually,
it. Okay.
that's actually not my channel anymore. I changed the name.
Oh, well,
What?
I just subscribed for no reason then.
Wait a minute.
Does this still
That's
bring
where
up?
you're-
It does still bring up my channel. Okay. Yeah, I changed
Yeah,
the name. I guess that link still works though. Cool.
What'd you
So
change
that
your
is
name
your
to?
channel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
changed the name of my channel to Scientific Origins.
Oh,
Okay.
here we go. Austin Sims Scientific Origins. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is you.
Yep.
Like
That's me.
a gorilla in a, what is it, like a karate suit or just a white suit or just
Yeah,
something?
it's a jujitsu gi.
Okay, and now we're getting out of here. So we're out. Goodbye,
Have a
cruel
good one,
world.
everybody.
Bye.